What's up, guys? D22-soso, Wayne Chung here, and we got Limon back.
Is your name Wayne Chung?
I guess I don't know. In Chinese, it's Jiang, but I don't know. In English, they make it Chiang.
I always say Wayne Chang.
It's fine. I mean,
It's better if it's Wayne Chung because it's like, everybody have fun tonight.
I've never heard that one ever in my entire life.
Yeah, but normally it doesn't make as much sense because it's everybody Wayne Chang tonight, which is like, come on. But it's everybody Wang Chung tonight. It's basically perfect. Did you change it specifically so that people?
No,
Because
it's just the way that when Chinese last names or names were made into the English phonetic system.
yeah, but if you told me, if I met you for the first time,
Hmm.
I was like, hey, what's your name? And you were like, Wayne Chang.
Wang Chung.
No, if you said my name's Wayne Chiang,
Yeah.
Chiang, which is the way it's spelled,
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, I'd probably forget.
Hmm.
But if you said, oh, my name's Wang Chung,
You would
I would
100%
never
remember.
forget. I would never forget your name.
So
Ever.
that's what I'm trying to do. Marketing.
It's super smart. But you might want to change this. You might want to change the spelling. Actually, it's sort of like a Brett Favre thing.
Hmm.
His name is spelled Favre,
Yes.
Favre.
Yes.
But he tells people it's pronounced Farve.
F
Favre.
A. Oh. Okay.
It's Favre.
Yes.
He tells people it's pronounced Farve.
Uh huh.
Favre.
Is that strategic or?
Well, he's a complete fucking moron. He could have just messed it up himself. I mean, he's one of the dumbest people alive.
Damn. That's cold.
I mean, he like scams poor people in Mississippi out of their money so he can build his daughter a volleyball court. He's like complete scum. The guy is complete unadulterated scum. But I guess when you're scum, you can just choose how you want your last name to be pronounced or your
Yeah,
first name or your name. But I like the whole Wang Chung thing.
Sure you do.
I won't forget your name next time I see you.
Did you forget it before?
I always just be like, hey, whoever we're with,
Yeah.
how you doing? Who's meeting us here tonight? And they'll just be like me, you, and that person standing there. They'll be like, well, it's me, you, and Wayne. Then I'll be like, hey, Wayne.
So, congratulations or fuck you to Dustin, who just won a jackpot today. He's been propping there for like a couple months. I've gotten 2 table shares and 0 jackpots in 8 years. And before
That's
that, I was playing non-jackpot games.
I like Dustin.
Yeah, I like Dustin too.
He likes to golf, play cards.
So I was having a discussion with Dustin, and I gave him the link for our last one, and he's allergic to minus EV plays, so to say, like we all are. Except he was like, I played Doug Polk on camera, and I was like, what's my EV, for an hour? Like, how much am I really negative?
Right.
Minus 100, or sorry, minus 10 BB per hour? Because that's 250. That's $250.
No, it's not that much.
Yeah, I'll make it back on YouTube. And plus, I get the video. Huh?
I mean, if you're playing what are you guys playing? Heads Up No Limit?
Yeah, heads up no limit, 1025, I think.
I mean, the best Heads Up No Limit player in the world against a competent player is probably a 65-35 favorite, right?
Doug said it's even less.
Even less, yeah, maybe
Yeah.
even less. So
Yeah, I mean,
So-
obviously it depends on competency, but just any reasonable player, just could be maybe up to 15%. But
so how
less.
long how many big blinds did you both have?
Well, we did sit and go too, or it's heads up sit and go, so it really, the EV wasn't.
Was it a freeze out? You had to play till the end?
Freeze out, yeah.
So you're going to lose over 3. How many big blinds did you have again?
We both start with 100, but it's a freeze out.
Okay.
So
Okay. So it's
yeah.
100. It's a freeze out. It's 100. So over three freeze outs, you're going to lose 100 big blinds. Even if you're like, you're probably less.
Worst, yeah, less. Worst, you mean like worst case scenario? I'm losing 100.
Yeah, worst case scenario.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, not worst case scenario. You're going to lose it all. I'm talking about on average.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
EV wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that means you lose 33 big blinds per heads-up match. How long does each heads-up match last on average?
It's live. I mean, he busted me in like 40 minutes, but yeah, I mean, I ran pretty bad. So maybe I'm like minus 100 BB per hour. I don't know.
Okay, Wayne, you're not helping me. I was hoping you'd say like 8 hours, because then I'd be like, okay.
I would think. I mean, I think with it. I mean, I would say an average is an hour, probably the way that we were doing it.
Oh, then you're losing a crazy number of big blinds an hour, like 33 big blinds an hour.
Okay.
How do you lose a heads-up match in 1 hour?
The what?
Because you were doing it tournament style?
Yeah, we were doing it tournament style. That's why.
Oh, then you're not a 2-to-1 dog.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
You're probably like a 55-45 dog.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Doug said. It's approximately like that versus a relatively competent player. My competency.
Yeah, you're like a. Okay,
yeah.
then.
It's 5. Huh?
Yes. Okay. Then the amount of big blinds.
It was like minus $125 an hour.
Yeah, it's not that much.
I already made it back on YouTube, or the EV, but I lost. So yeah, I mean, like Dustin said that, but I was saying, and you've also mentioned this too. One of the hiccups that you and I made in our professional gambling / poker career is not getting poker fame earlier.
Yeah, but now it's pointless though.
I don't think it's pointless. It's still like if you have. Well, this leads into something else I'm gonna ask. Well, okay, so there's different types of poker fame, right?
You're right, Wayne. It's not pointless, but it's pointless compared to what it was in 2000.
Oh yeah, of course, but like it's not. It's still useful now. Like it.
Yes,
like,
it is. Okay, granted, it is not pointless. And if you had like a nice rack or something, it's really not pointless.
It's getting harder for girls, man. Like I've seen some like above average.
Wayne, is it really getting harder for girls? Or is it getting harder for girls? How hard is it getting for girls, Wayne?
Okay, fair enough. As long as I can find the role.
Wayne, if there was a chick named Lainey Chiang,
Mm-hmm.
who had your skills,
yeah, they would be doing a lot better than me.
and your cup size, but a lot thinner in general, and probably more hair upstairs, but the same amount of hair downstairs.
Gonna get wrecked.
She would sell like a $300K package for the World Series in like 10 minutes at 1.2 markup. Wayne,
that's not even that much. 1.2?
Yeah, but I want her to sell a $300K package. I don't want her to sell like a $10K package.
No, I mean like 300.
I want her to play like 30 events or something.
Okay, all right.
Oh, I'm putting her on the stroll, Wayne. Lane Chung. I'm putting her on the stroll. We're not playing 10 events. Now at 1.4, you could probably sell like a 50K package. I think at 1.2 you could just sell unlimited, because it doesn't seem like a. Yeah. Because at 1.2 doesn't seem like a scam at all. It seems really fair. 1.4 starts to be really scammy.
To the uneducated.
Yeah.
1.2 is pretty scammy.
but if you said like, hey, I'm Lane Chung, carpet matches the drapes. All I want to play 30 events, and I just want to sell at 1.2 because I'm not trying to scam anybody. It's just a fair amount. Uh, Here's my record at fucking whatever dumb site you're on right now. Here's here's my record at Global Poker. It's totally fair. This is just a sweat. It's just a sweat. And let's get rich together. Yay!
This is just the sweat. Let's get rich together.
Yeah, that's what you gotta say.
Got it.
And then, like, run it up. Yeah. Bracelet, honey. Wayne, you could easily sell a 30 event package
Sure.
that covers, like, WSOP, all the events during Vegas for that 2 months. So you're basically trying to play an event every 2 days. Obviously, if you go deep, you take one off the package, you know. You gonna try that?
Yeah, no. I mean, people are just getting worse. Blah. They're worth less and less every day. Like when I went to the World Series, I'm looking around. I'm like, yeah, I'm a favorite, but I don't even know how much. Oh yeah, so like the other thing was dead money. Do you believe people in tournaments are dead money?
Dead money?
Yeah.
Oh well, you know, everything's on like a continuum.
I told
You know.
Dustin like, okay, so I
But
played a lot of tournaments now, so I
nobody's
don't really.
dead money.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think
Nobody's
anybody's
dead money.
dead money. Like you could just be, you basically net win like whatever 7 to 15 hands, and then you do very well in the tournament.
I mean, I've played cash games with Jerry Yang. I've played cash games with Jamie Gold. And based on what I saw, literally nobody is dead money. Because in these cash games, they got torched.
I mean, I don't think they're the worst ever, but
No. But that just means nobody's dead money, you know?
yeah, that was my contention. I don't think anybody's dead money because all you need to do is be dealt net winner like 7 to 15 times in the tournament,
Yeah.
and then whatever you do well, maybe not win, but
Robert
you definitely do well.
Varconi? Fucking Robert Varconi?
Damn.
Give me a fucking break.
Hey, Robert Varconi, challenge Abe to double board PLO at Commerce.
Yeah, come out to Commerce anytime you want. I'll set up a game.
How many, what percent of poker pros have gone broke?
If I think back to 25 years ago when I started, and I think about the people who were considered poker pros then, and then in Los Angeles, I'm not talking about like Doyle Brunson. I never met the fucking guy. I'm talking about Los Angeles poker pros. The people who are left from 25 years ago is like me and like 2 other guys. And there was probably, you know, at least 30 people who thought that they were poker pros. And I'd say that number probably
What percentage?
correlates across the years. I mean, it's at least 90% go broke.
What about go broke once?
Go broke once.
Because then that includes Garrett and me and I don't know how many.
Well, go broke once is like, doesn't really matter if once you take a, like, once you become like a serious hobbyist again, then you're sort of like no longer a poker pro. I mean, not that I care about these definitions, but I mean, there's a poker pro plays off of a bankroll, and when the bankroll's gone, they're broke.
Okay. So you consider a poker pro as like literally the only or majority source of their income is poker.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know, that's like, I guess like, and I'm not saying that's smart. It's actually really dumb, but like, people who play with everything that they do, they play off of a bankroll. There is no money coming in that doesn't come in from poker. Like that's like a real hardcore poker pro. Everybody else like sort of falls in the either in the realm of serious hobbyist or advantage player. Because advantage players have money coming from multiple sources in the gambling world. That's the smartest route. There's nothing even close to being as smart as advantage player. The dumbest route is poker pro, and then like the medium route, I guess, is like
Serious hobbyist.
serious hobbyist. Serious hobbyist doesn't need a bankroll because they have money coming in from their regular
Right.
job.
Right.
But if you have a regular job, you could never claim to be a poker pro because you have a regular fucking job. It ruins the whole thing. It's like, are you a professional basketball player? It's like, yeah, I'm a professional basketball player. I work at fucking, Ralph's bagging groceries 5 days a week, and I'm on the Lakers fucking practice squad 1 day a week. It's like, no. That's not how that shit works, you know. If you have a regular fucking job, that is what you're a professional at. That's not a bad thing either. I mean, I'm not making some sort of disparagement. That's actually very smart. I already said the dumbest option is poker pro. The smartest option is advantage player. The middle option is serious hobbyist. Of poker pros, 90% plus, maybe 95% plus, go broke and have to find another way to bring money in because their bankroll is gone. So they either become a professional at something else, a real job, or they become a professional at begging. And I would say like 20% go back to a real job and 80% become a professional at begging. And the professional begging job lasts about 18 to 24 months because that's how long you can beg and find new people to beg from. After that, the begging stops too. And that's the point where like you basically just become either that's where like the first crossroads is job or begging. The second crossroads is when the begging stops is criminal or job.
Fair enough.
And a large portion go criminal. And somebody and another portion just like goes back to job and becomes a serious hobbyist. These are the guys that used to call themselves poker pros. And anytime you talk to them, when there's a break at the Daily Nooner, like during the 15-minute break of the Daily Nooner, if somehow they fucking chase you down while you're trying to grab a water, they tell you about the time they were crushing.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You have to hear that shit. Well, remember when the top section was here and we played 100, 200? It's like, yeah, I remember that. Can I just finish my water before you go back to your Daily Nooner? Because if you talk to them too long, they're going to move back up the pyramid of their life to beggar. Oh, yeah, man, these Daily Nooners have such a big overlay, man. Any chance you want to put me in the next one? No. Bye.
They don't have overlay.
Bye, Eritrean Gary.
But then,
young man.
the poker fame helps with that. Helps with the
Poker
begging.
fame helps a ton with that. That is where poker fame is very important. Because if you're, Min Wen, he might be dead. Who knows?
Oh no, I think he was spotted at the World Series this year.
Yeah, if you're one of those type of guys who hasn't cashed or won anything in so many fucking years, but a certain number of people recognize you, you will just get money forever. Forever. If you're Mike Mutausow or whatever.
Mike Mutausow.
Oh yeah, whatever.
What's up, Natty Wit? What's up, Prox? You can smash that thumbs up and subscribe. So every generation, I was thinking about this today. Every generation, there's categories of poker fame. There's like, this guy is an idiot, scammer, blah, 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 negative. And then there's the positive, which is the crushers. And then there's the poker famous people.
Right.
So every generation, and then, some of them last several generations, which to the people from 20, 25 years ago, it's give them a lot of credit, like Phil Hellmuth, Daniel Granu. I don't know. I mean, they end up getting subsidized anyway.
Right.
So, but there's still a couple purists out there. It's pretty amazing.
I mean, isn't like the last fucking purist sort of like
Brian Kim.
yeah?
I don't know who else.
It's that one guy. It's that dude. The lanky white guy.
American?
Yeah. He lost to Johnny Chan in the famous
Oh,
hand.
Eric Seidel.
Isn't he like the last purist?
I don't know. Like Mikhail Thuritz, I hear, is still out there.
Who the fuck is Mikhail Thuritz? I'm talking about Eric fucking Seidel. A literal legend of poker.
Mm.
He's always at the top of his game.
Mm-hmm.
He's not. Has he ever been sponsored?
I have no idea.
Site? Right?
Yeah.
He just plays with his own money, right?
That's what I hear, but nobody actually knows.
Like you're like, oh, well, aside from Eric Seidel, there's also
There's still some people from the online days that play on their own.
No, but Eric Seidel is a literal legend of poker. Am I wrong?
You're right.
No, like Eric Seidel is is pretty close to like a Mount Rushmore type guy as far as poker goes. He was playing the main event of the World Series of Poker in the 80s at the final table, and he final tables 100K high rollers now, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong? I don't know.
You're right, yeah.
And to the best of my knowledge, he doesn't run a poker site, and he doesn't have he's not sponsored by a casino or anything. Like, he just plays poker.
And he has all of himself in these 100Ks?
I don't know.
That's pretty impressive.
If this is the persona. Have you ever heard anybody say anything bad about Eric Seidel?
No.
Me neither. And he's been around that long, 50 fucking years. That's sort of like that's pretty legend status in my mind.
Sure.
But I wouldn't want to not discount Thurgood Thorbjorn, whoever the fuck you said.
Mikhail Thuritz.
Yeah, whatever. Just some random name. You could have just made that up for all anyone knows. No one knows who you're talking about.
He's tracked.
Nobody knows who you're talking about.
Okay, nobody knows.
Was he in Rounders?
No, then nobody knows what I'm talking about.
Okay, mic drop. Next topic.
Oh, man. So, if you could redo your poker career, you would have got poker famous earlier and then got a sponsorship and then it would have ran out?
Yeah, I mean, it's also stupid to talk about. But, at the time I was a purist. I was like, I'm a cash game guy. I take on all comers. I'll play any game you can name, any amount you can count, if I like it. Tournament players are dorks, they're donks, they're wasting their fucking time. But, hindsight's always 20/20. It's all just a part of the grift, It's all part of the fucking hustle. Like, where are the most dorks? The most dorks are fucking tournaments, and it wasn't about winning tournaments or making money at tournaments. It was about making money off of dorks. And the side money that you could make off dorks by being tournament famous was just so great. You think back to the people who were making side money off of tournament dorks, fucking, who were the people who were the full tilt pros back then? Who were the people who were if you went back and looked at all their pictures, it's who are these fucking people? Like,
John Juanda, Chris Ferguson, Howard Lederer,
yeah, Annie Duke,
Tom Dwan.
fucking. Well, Dwan sort of stood the test of time. Not quite. He's not like a legendary player in that way, um, because he stiffed Jungle Man and he went broke and he basically had to play as like an employee of Paul Pois and stuff. I'm not. That's none of that's disparaging. It's just like if you're gonna, that gets you taken off the Mount Rushmore very quickly. Um, and by the way, I'm nowhere near the Mount Rushmore. I'm not even like gravel at the bottom. So don't think that I'm like, putting on airs, as they say. But I mean that said,
who do you consider the Mount Rushmore?
I've never stiffed anybody in my life. I've never slow paid anybody. I've never dropped out of a bet in my life. I've never had a backer. I've never been somebody's bitch. So I'm maybe a little bit closer to the rarefied air than some might think.
Definitely rare, but
the Mount Rushmore of poker.
Yeah. What would be the criteria?
Well, the criteria is you can't be a known criminal. That's number one. You have to be somebody who changed the game for the better. You have to be thought of as somebody who is one of the biggest winners of all time in your time, not necessarily in this time, but in your time.
Right, your era.
And you have to sort of have like, sort of universally, you have to be sort of universally known and universally have universal appeal.
Name some names aside from Eric Seidel.
I mean, Doyle Brunson's obviously on it. I mean, it's just like period in the story. Then, I think Daniel Negreanu's on it. Then, I mean, I think that Phil Ivey's on it. And then there's like basically like one more spot. And
would you think Helmuth deserves the spot?
I don't know, because he sort of doesn't have necessarily the respect of his peers, in so much as they would gladly play him in like so many formats, whereas nobody would talk that way about Phil Ivey, and nobody would talk that way about Doyle Brunson. And people did try to talk that way a long time about Daniel Negreanu, and sort of learned the hard way that like he's just way sharper than they thought. It should be somebody from that was a foundational pillar of poker. But the problem with the foundational pillars of poker, like the Johnny Moss types, Titanic Thompson types, is they were just sort of roundly known as criminals. Which, poker is a hustle. It's not a crime. There's a very bright red line between hustling and stealing. So, like, you just can't be anywhere near the theft line. You have to stay strongly on the hustler sideline. I mean, who did people think of when you said the word poker? 50 years ago. What was Doyle? It was like Amarillo Slim. Amarillo Slim. They're just all like too close to the crime line. Maybe just for like the shits and giggles of it, it's something like Doc Holliday or something. I don't know. Like, I think that for the fourth one, what I would do is I would go find like 100 people over the age of 50, or maybe over the age of 60, and I'd ask them like, "What's the first name that comes to your mind when you think poker?" And it probably would end up being something like Doc Holliday or something.
Really?
And then, maybe you just have to throw them up there because they're a cultural icon that stood the test of time. A lot of people would be upset that like two of my choices are sort of modern players, Ivy and Negreanu, but like other people would be upset that there wasn't even a more modern player on there, like Feder Holes or something, one of these
Chidwick?
Yeah. But that you can't put Feder Holes or Chidwick on there because you could ask 10,000 people who Feder Holes or Chidwick were, and they could not pick them out of a lineup. 10,000 people. You could show me 100 pictures, I couldn't tell you who Chidwick is. At Feder Holes, you could show me like 10 different twinks. I wouldn't pick the right one 9 times out of 10. Like, I just don't. So it's like, how can that person be on Mount Rushmore?
Fair.
Maybe 30 years from now, we would change our mind and like, everyone knows who Chidwick is. But no, that can't be it. That absolutely can't be it. I mean, it would almost be more interesting to put somebody like Archie Karras up there or Billy Walters or something like that. It's just like an icon of gambling. I think maybe Archie Karras should be it. Because Archie Karras would represent like a real gambler.
What's Stu
I
Unger?
don't know. Stu Unger, I don't know. I guess I don't have a problem with Stu Unger.
He just died too early.
Yeah, he didn't really stand the test of time.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, Negreanu and Ivy are of our era, but they've been around forever.
Yeah.
Forever. I mean, these are guys with 25, 30-year careers that have literally never fallen off. They've never fallen off. It's insane.
What do you mean by falling off? I've heard rumors about Ivy, but
yeah, but just even the edge sorting fucking advantage play, just so fucking Mount Rushmore. Like that's I mean,
that adds to your legacy.
Yeah, that is it. Like, that's the type of stuff that you say, like, oh, this guy's operating on a whole nother level. I guess that puts Billy Baxter in that. Billy Baxter's the one that made professional gambling a thing. There wouldn't be such thing as professional gambling without Billy Baxter. He made it so you could fill out a W-2G and get tax deductions.
Shut up.
I don't know. Anyone who wants can choose their fourth guy. But if you say that Doyle, Negreanu, and Ivy aren't the first three, I think you're going to lose that argument. That's my guess.
So one thing about people who, I mean, you already communicated that it's dumb to go pro, especially in this era.
Yeah.
But just think, in all eras, one of the issues is, people always expect to run on par minimum.
Right.
Because the second you run under par, it just it melts your brain in a way that just, even the strongest have trouble. But really, that's the reality. It's like at some point, I went broke year 11. At some point, life, even if you're good enough for whatever, life will just drag you down.
Right.
And just I told you last time recently, I had one of the worst swings on global poker. But if I was playing exclusive for a living, it's not good. And I know some people. Yeah.
You would have had that same run in cash tournaments. You would have been broke 20 times over.
Yeah, it just like be so negative, and my graph is literally fucking straight up. But
Right.
it's yeah, I mean it could happen, and that's the thing is because I play online. I had like 2 million hands before. Like I've ran way worse online than I ever have live.
Right.
So I had some semblance of warning, but it's tough, man. Like when you run good live, you just have feelings that you're invincible or just maybe be better than you actually are, or again compared to the field.
Well, it's because live, the amount of time it takes is very long, but the amount of iterations you're actually doing is very small. So you're fooled by the amount of time. So you can say, like, I've been winning for 6 months. This is insane. I can never lose again.
Yeah,
But in that 6 months, the actual amount of iterations
hands
that you've gone through is just nothing.
so low. Yeah,
It's microscopic. It's literally nothing. Um, like Warren Buffett has this great quote. I don't know if he came up with it, but he says it. He says, "The market can stay illogical longer than you can stay solvent,"
right.
and that's basically poker in a nutshell. Live poker,
Yeah,
and it's not just live poker. It's any sort of gambling, even in the stock market, where it's all positive EV gambling. Everything in the stock market is positive EV gambling. There is no like negative EV stock market gambling because the entire ship is going up. Um, throughout all of recorded history, the stock market only goes up. So because of that, over any 10-year window or something, no matter how fucking stupid you are, you're probably going to make money. You might not make as much money as somebody who's smart, but you're probably going to make some money because the rising tide lifts all boats. But in regards to actual bad bets in this, that's if you're going long, because if you go long a stock, you have infinite upside and finite downside. You can only go down to zero. You can't go below zero, but you can go up to anything. Now, what happens when you short a stock is now you have infinite downside and finite upside. And so when you short a stock, that's when the market can stay illogical longer, you could stay solvent. And that's why Warren Buffett doesn't do any short bets. And that's where that quote comes from to a large extent. And the people who learned this were people like giant fucking hedge funds like Citadel, and I think the other one was called Melvin Capital, who were shorting GameStop. And they lost billions of fucking dollars and literally went bankrupt. Billions. And they're like, how can this fucking be happening? This company's worth nothing. But it doesn't matter because the market could stay illogical longer than they could stay solvent. And in poker, everybody runs to their expected EV in the long run, but the long run is longer than most people's bankrolls.
yeah,
And at tail end, like black swan events, it's longer than everyone's bankroll.
yeah.
But these black swan events might be 1 in a million type events. You just hope they don't happen to you.
You just never know, though. Like 5 years ago, if somebody told us the story of like COVID,
Right.
we'd be like, okay, this guy's crazy, right? That exactly how it would play out. It's like nobody could have, even if you knew the events, how many people could have known exactly how it played out?
Oh, nobody.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's just like so many surprises for everybody.
And that's why I was saying the best possible job in gambling is advantage player, because it's almost like having a regular job and being a serious hobbyist,
Yeah.
but because every single one of your jobs is in a casino you still get to keep the mantle of professional gambler. You're never going to have the mantle of professional car repair person or stewardess or whatever. Not these are great jobs, and you should. I take my hat off to people with these
Sure.
jobs. I'm not disparaging them. I'm just saying, like, if you are an auto mechanic and you play poker, you are a serious hobbyist. If all of your money comes from activities inside the casino, then you can truly have the moniker, if you want it, of professional gambler.
Or if you get paid by the casino.
Yeah.
Still counts?
Getting paid. Of course it counts.
It's not
It's
gambling.
just Rick Beck.
That's fair.
Fucking genius. It doesn't count. It's genius. Most people pay to play poker.
That's fair.
Smart people get paid to play poker. So it's not only fair, it's mandatory.
Oh, man. At 2040 limit, hold 'em.
Sure.
You can make 100K a year.
Easy.
Oh, man. Yeah, I think, I don't know. So you still don't think, if you had to start your advantage gambling career today, since you already have some poker fame, do you think how much do you think it's worth chasing?
For me, it's not worth it at all because I'm never going to do the things that make it worthwhile. So, like, in 2006, you could be poker famous and get money from the online poker sites to put you in tournaments, pay you sponsorship deals.
100% rake back.
Yeah, 100% rake back deals, which I did have. And never have to beg. Like, or never have to, like, not even beg. You never had to network at all. You never had to, like, do the whole, like, getting put in by people. The money was all sort of, like, more legitimate and above board. So I would have been good at that. I would have been a character. People would have loved that character. And once you have some final table TV time, a lot of sites want to pay for that character.
Right.
I could never ask people to put me in tournaments. It's just not part of my DNA. And that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. I'm not, like, casting aspersions on anybody. It's just not part of my DNA. Because I just don't want to talk to people about my bust out hand. And I don't want them to, like, text me. And I don't want to, like, fucking, hey, give me a call the next break. Like, how'd it go today? Like, I'm not, the stop and chat aspect of it is not for me, you know. It feels like way too much like horse and jockey, borderline pimp and hoe. It doesn't appeal to me, but that isn't a value judgment. That's just for me.
Yeah.
I don't have any problem with other people who really enjoy that aspect of, like, quote unquote camaraderie, buying and selling, being a horse, fucking texting them, they're talking about your bust out hand, having to talk to them about their bust out hands. You know, it's almost like a buy a friend type thing, these staking
Oh,
deals.
yeah. Well, that's what
It's-
poker coaching is, really.
It's the same reason I stopped poker coaching. Exactly. Same reason I stopped. Is because it's like, okay, you're giving me, back then it was $150 an hour. Nowadays it'd probably be $250 an hour, whatever it is. You're giving me $150 an hour. I'm trying to help you be better at poker. You still fucking suck. You mainly just want to hang out and talk to me. I think you're paying me $150 an hour just to have my phone number to bother the fuck out of me. Like, I'm, like, pretty successful and wealthy. I don't give a fuck. Get
Don't need it.
lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know. Then again, like, if I was at a different spot in my life, maybe I'd be like, oh, fucking thank God this guy wants to pay me 150 an hour to be his poker buddy.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not casting aspersions. This isn't a judgment call. People who do like to get paid to be like a phone a friend, go for it. I'm like literally 100% on your side. It just wasn't for me. So also getting staking was never. I wouldn't take $1 from anybody ever in my entire life. Never swapped with anybody. Nothing. You know, I just play my fucking game. And I'm not saying that that's right. It's just the way I do it. And other people can do it their way.
Yeah.
The problem is that when you get involved in that world, things get very unethical and very hairy very quickly.
Yeah.
And you have to have a very strong sense of right and wrong to not slip into the dark side.
I'm sure it's gotten worse too. Like, that was one of the tougher things to handle, and just like people don't talk about how much you get angle shot too at the higher stakes.
Right.
Like, it's like lower stakes, like whatever, you know, it sucks, but the money's like the nominal dollar amounts is not that high.
Right.
And just like it hurts, but like you move on. But then with the larger numbers, it's just like yeah. I mean, there was an incident, I think I told you, on hand with Mark Newhouse, and Chino Reem was on the side, and he's just like, you can't fold the Wayne here. I'm just like, and then he ended up calling, and I was bluffing, and just it was like I think a 4.5K swing or something.
Wow, that's bad.
And I can't do anything, you know. Like Mark Newhouse put the chips in.
You can bluff less.
I could.
But then again, I mean, how often did Chino Reeve actually know anything in that spot?
He didn't have any inside information. It's more just like, you know, they're giving me credit for the ability to bluff. And Mark was just going through like all these permutations and just be like, he cannot be bluffing here. But I was.
Yeah, it sucks when there's two players to hand, even if nobody's really that scared of either of them. But yeah, that just sort of sucks. I mean, truth be told, though, you probably have the nuts in that spot a lot more often than you have the bluff.
That is true.
Then you're thanking Chino Reem for getting Mark
One extra bet.
just to spew off to you, I guess, right?
Yeah. That is true.
I mean, in my game, oftentimes there'll be like one fish sort of like talking to another fish in the middle of a hand.
Yeah, you just don't care.
And like, I don't care at all, obviously.
Sure.
But then somebody will be like,
one player ran.
They'll say like, hey guys, one player to a hand, no talking during the hand, right?
Yeah.
And then I will say, listen, I agree you guys shouldn't talk about strategy during this when you're in with this guy. But when you're in with me, you are 100% allowed to speak to each other about strategy. Because it just like shines a light on how like dumb it all is. Like, these two fucking idiots together, you can put their fucking brains in a canary and fly backwards. Like, I don't give a fuck whether they talk strategy the entire fucking hand together. I don't care if they show each other's hands. They're still gonna lose. Like, I want them to be happy, you know.
Yeah.
So like, I don't like sometimes I really don't like nitpicky players like that in general when they're talking to fish. But then they're almost always talking to fish because professional poker players and serious hobbyists know proper etiquette.
Yeah.
The people who are often using improper etiquette are nearly always fish. That said, Chino and Mark should know proper etiquette. They're not fish. They're something, but they're not fish. So, like, you know, that's sort of that. I understand feeling like a little upset about that spot. Like, you know, if young man had a big decision against me, and then like Eritrea and Gary walked up behind him and said like, "Oh, you have to fold here," and then he folded, and I had the nuts. Like, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't make a scene about it. Right? But like, it would be like very out of line because even though they both fucking suck, they've spent so much time in a casino. They know better than to do that.
Yeah.
And Newhouse and Reem should know.
Yeah, I
should
mean,
know,
dude, they did like you know.
they
It
should know
just
better than to do
it
that.
just like even when the dollar. I mean, recently, like 2 weeks ago. I don't know. I mean, technically, it's my fault. I usually protect my cards with like a chip on it. I don't know what happened that I didn't. I think I was actually physically holding my cards. And then the lady to my left slammed the table, and my
Yeah.
cards just flew up and flipped over. I, and then what, like, I was literally, I'm pretty sure I was like holding them. Not like obviously gripping them tight, but I would have thought holding it tight enough that it couldn't do that. But it happened.
Wayne, you were running insanely bad because I didn't even know that was physically possible.
I didn't either. But it did happen.
The next time I want to see somebody's hand, I'm just gonna slam the table and hope their cards flip over.
You could try it. I mean, I was super surprised.
And you're saying this is a lady?
Yeah.
What was this lady, like Mrs. Incredible Hulk? How the fuck could a lady hit the table hard enough to make your cards flip over? Wayne, this story's getting very dubious.
It happened. You could ask Annie. You could ask all the people at the table.
You did something, Wayne. Yeah, agreed. You just stay quiet now. That's the smartest move. Because no fucking lady slammed the table hard enough to fucking flip your cards over. If so, I want to enter her in like the world's strongest man competition. Next.
Well, whatever. Even that event tilted me, so all the higher dollar amounts, way worse. And that's
Right.
people don't, count for that. Along with normal down swings.
Is there anybody in the chat, Wayne?
Yeah, there's a ton. There's Michael Godoy, Natty Witt, Joe Ranch, Mad Benjamin, Prolific Love.
Well, then tell the chat to give us a topic or something.
Chat. Ask Lyman questions. Maybe they did ask. Can I beat the 2-5 game at the Gardens if I can beat 5-cent, 10-cent on ACR?
Yeah, right.
Probably. They're kind of different skill sets though.
No, that doesn't mean you can't beat the game of the Gardens. It means you can't beat it for the maximum.
Yeah, that's fair.
If you can beat a small stakes online game, you can beat a mid stakes live game. But beating the game isn't your goal in live poker, because beating the game in live poker is a recipe to go broke.
Yeah.
To make in live poker, you have to crush the game. Crush the game. You have to make 10 big blinds an hour to survive in live poker. That's not beating the game. Beating the game is one big blind an hour. Like the old man who buys in for the fucking 50 bigs and fucking orders a fucking coffee and a steak and eggs, he beats the game for one big blind an hour. Beating the game is not fucking interesting. So you have to crush the game in live poker because you don't have scalability. You can't just add 20 more tables that you beat for one big blind an hour, and now you're making 20 big blinds an hour. You're at one fucking table. This is what online players always think, like, oh, I can beat that game. Who fucking cares? There's a million fucking guys pumping gas whose claim to fame was they can fucking beat the game. Beating the game is ain't gonna do you damn shit for good. You have to crush the game. That's the key to live poker. You have to crush the game. And to crush the game takes, like Wayne said, a completely different skill set.
Joe Ranch asks any good stock picks to gamble on.
Well, I don't gamble with my investments. I mean, if you want to gamble, go buy like Link coin or something. Buy some fucking Ponzi coin and hope that it fucking pumps. But not that Link coin's a Ponzi coin. I think Link coin has has some real world applications, whatever. Fucking, but I mean, buy one of these altcoins and hope it pumps if you want to gamble. If you want to make a really good investment, I would say dollar cost average into U.S. Treasuries.
You posted about that on Twitter, right?
Yeah, I would say dollar cost average into Treasuries. I would say buy Berkshire Hathaway. I would say buy low PE AI plays like Deere, Cisco, IBM, Google. If you just did all the things I just said, you're gonna make money. Don't worry about it. Forget about it. You're gonna make money. If you want to like win the lottery, well, buy a lottery ticket.
DJ Wood says she loves your laugh. Loves.
Thank you, Mrs. Woods. She was one of my poker students back in the day.
Oh.
She was great.
Crushing it now?
Now she's just crushing everything.
How much of your poker coaching went beyond poker? Or is it mostly beyond poker?
It would always end up being things that weren't poker related, and that's when I would be like, not Miss Woods. But I mean like, you know, I liked most of the people. I actually liked all of my poker students a lot. But I just didn't really feel like they were getting their money's worth. And so I didn't feel comfortable with it. And the reason I didn't feel like they're getting their money's worth is because I didn't really feel like they were trying to get better at poker.
But
and
you could
so it's like,
you could advise them things in other ways that would, increase their quality of life or
yeah, but I'm not like a performance coach. I'm not like a therapist. I was more like, I don't know. It just didn't fit with like, I would rather just give it away I would just rather talk to you and have people ask me questions for free. Because then there's no pressure on me to like be right about things that like maybe I don't care about or even want to talk about.
That's fair.
So like, if you ask me a question in here, I'll do my best and I don't give a fuck. But if you're paying me $150 an hour, I feel like, oh God, do I have to be on call? If they send me a text about this thing, do I have to research it now? Because I have to give them the right
fair.
answer.
Yeah, that's fair.
They're paying $150 an hour. Like, it's like, okay, fuck that. Fuck that. I don't give a fuck. It just, if I was like super poor, it would have been a good deal, but I wasn't, so who cares?
We got big time by Barry Woods, by the way.
Well, I think we got big time by
the hurricane.
Yeah.
Mike, what's up, Michael Schultz? He asks, what do you use to maintain your perm?
It just comes out of my head, bro. Carpet matches the drapes. You know how we could turn Wayne upside down and make him into a hot Asian chick? If you turned me upside down, I'd look exactly the same.
Natty Witt asks, limit poker at Commerce is popular?
Yes, poker at Commerce is popular, and it's probably the best way to make a living, in my opinion. unless you want to take your chances with me.
How many pros have been? What's the percentage of pros that have been successful in your game?
I'd say there's probably, out of a player pool of 40 regulars, and by regular I mean somebody who shows up at least twice a month. Out of a player pool of 40 regulars, I'd say there's 3 winners.
Wow.
So
3 consistent winners?
Huh?
3 consistent winners?
Yeah.
3.
Everybody else is just sort of clicking buttons.
So 3 out of 40.
It's a little less than 10%.
Yeah. Because somebody on Twitter was when you were or the Darren Elias question, which was how many tournament pros have net worth higher than their biggest score?
Right. It's 0.
Well,
in live tournaments, it's not 0, but it's under 5%.
yeah, most of the people that do have higher net worth than their biggest score are TV players.
Well, yeah, I mean that doesn't count if you like, you were Robert Varconi, and then you invested it in Apple. Yes, your net worth is much, much higher than your biggest score, but that's not because of playing poker.
So that's how your caveat is. It has to be from poker.
Yeah, that's like that is implied in the question. Otherwise, you could be like, I played 1 cent, 2 cent once, won $2, bought a lottery ticket, won the lottery. I made $28 million playing poker. Come on. It's implied in the question that that their net worth is higher than their biggest score because they've been so good at poker. Not because they took their biggest score and made a great investment with it.
Sempra Energy? What's that?
Some dipshit. What does he want?
Sempra Energy? I'm wondering if that's a stock.
Oh yeah, Sempra Energy is a stock.
Yeah, that's what I was guessing. He was saying that global poker pros would have a net worth higher than their biggest score. I'm not so sure about that.
I don't care about online. Online's a completely different animal. Online has nothing to do with live. It's a completely different animal. Because online is about volume, it's about multiple tables.
Well, I've looked up my competition on global, and I've heard from GG Poker that there just aren't even that many winners aren't significant winners in any given ecosystem.
Well, in any given ecosystem, here's how the ecosystem works. You know this. If there's no money coming in, there can only be one winner. The only way you can have multiple winners is if there's new dead money coming in all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because if there's no dead money coming in, the best player will take all the money from the second best player. There can only be one. It's like, what's that? The Highlander. There could be only one. So the only way you can have multiple winners in any ecosystem is to have multiple new losers. New money coming in. So, or old losers that just never go broke, which doesn't really exist. So it's not really.
They can have expendable income, right?
Yeah, but everybody goes broke. When I ran my game for something like 11 years before the pandemic at 5-5-10, and I've been running it for something like 2 years, 2.5 years, I don't know, after the pandemic at 10, 20, sometimes 40. with 30 anti-bomb pods. Before the pandemic, for those 11 years, basically no one went broke. Almost nobody. Like, all the regulars, sometimes they'd have to take a little break. They would always come back. Since the pandemic, doubling the stakes, so many have gone broke. Like, gone. Dropped off the face of the planet. Don't answer my calls. Don't answer my texts. Hide from me. Actively hide from me because of the embarrassment. And these are like people that have played for years and years and years and years and years at just one notch below. And they're very rich people. We're talking about doctors, lawyers, business owners. Huh?
What do you think that they've lost? Like, what range?
What they lost is all their fucking money. That's what they lost.
Well, what dollar range is that?
One guy, actually two guys, had a $30,000 credit line at the casino. Over all the years at 510, they never ran through the credit line. At 1020, they both ran through their entire credit line within the first 3 months. So, because it goes from a cap game to an uncapped game.
Right.
A no straddle game to a straddle game.
Yeah.
It wasn't just doubling in size. It was more like quadrupling in size.
Yeah.
And so, like, once they run through their credit line, the casino runs that check. And when the casino runs a $30,000 check against your business or against your personal account, this is like stuff that your wife notices. You've like entered a whole new fucking level of pain. Like, the shit is too deep to get out of because it's no longer fun anymore to your friends and family. To your friends and family, once a $30,000 check clears against one of your accounts, it's now a problem. So, no matter how wealthy you are, you if you play like a spaz in bigger and bigger games, you will not necessarily go broke, but you'll reach the point where people in your life change your behavior for you, whether you want it or not. And that's what's happens. That's what's happened, you know?
DJ Luna Woods asks, what did you think about the Eden Rock Space last night? I haven't listened to Space in like a long time. It's exhausting.
I tune in to, sometimes if I'm sitting here, I'll look at whatever little topic they put up and I'll tune in. Very rare, but like last night...
I don't even know what happened. Do you know?
Yeah, there's this guy who turns out to be a scammer, I guess. Ron Mercer or something. You heard of this guy, Ron Mercer?
No.
Okay, so there's this guy named Ron who told people he had cancer.
Oh, I heard about... I mean, I saw whatever the premise of this. I don't know the name of the person.
And then there was this other lady who told people that she had cancer.
I know about that one.
And this guy, Eden Rocks, who's like a complete fuck up, but he actually sort of like has like a good radio voice, which like is a strange thing to say, but it actually makes it, for me, I actually enjoy sort of his cadence. Although I can't listen for very long because the actual content is just mind-numbingly stupid. If he had better content, I think that he actually would be a good host. But he hasn't. His content's comical. It's not comical in a good way. It's comical in a pathetic way. But anyway, last night he had a pretty good thing because he had content. So his content was he had told this woman, her name was like Jamie or something.
Jamie LaFay or something.
Okay, that you're right. Yes. So he had told this woman that she was faking cancer, which is pretty fucking hilarious. Because she called in and she said, "I have cancer" or whatever. I didn't hear. And then he's like, "That's a fake voice. You're putting on a fake voice. You don't fucking have cancer."
Hmm.
It was like that scene from The Big Lebowski, where Walter is saying like, "This guy doesn't have a spinal injury. I've seen spinal injuries." this guy's a fucking goal bricker. And then he lifts the guy out of the wheelchair, throws him down, and he just falls on the floor and is like flopping around. So like, basically the Eden Rocks guy did the same thing. He told her that she didn't have cancer, and everyone hated him, obviously, and said he was evil, vile, worst person in the history of the world. And then he ended up meeting with her and decided that she really did have cancer. But then it turns out that maybe she did not have cancer. It was like a fucking third level fucking scam.
Okay.
So anyway, then this other fucking douchebag, Ron Mercer, comes along, and Eden Rocks says this motherfucker doesn't have cancer. Which, truthfully, is the smartest thing to say when somebody in poker world tells you you have cancer. The smartest thing you can possibly say is like, is nothing, just hang up on them. The second smartest thing you can say is like, you don't have fucking cancer, you're a scam artist. Because you're gonna just, it's like throwing a rock in a prison. You're gonna hit a criminal. Like if you throw a rock in a room of fucking poker players saying that they have cancer, you're gonna hit a scam artist, 100% guaranteed. So like, then everyone fucking jumps down his throat and tells him, apparently, somebody can clip this and send it to him if I'm wrong. He can play it on his next show. They said apparently this guy did not have cancer. And Eden was right the whole time. So then the guy is like just such a fucking obvious fucking scammer. It was like just like this comically fucking obvious scam. Even if he does have cancer, it's still a fucking scam. Because there's no accounting of why he needs the money. There's no accounting of where the money's going to go. It's all just fucking bullshit. So anyway, so then the Eden Rocks guy comes on his show and does a victory lap. So I see like, it says like, Eden Rocks, cancer, something, whatever. I don't even know what it is. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to tune in because I know he has content. And when he has content, he actually has a good cadence and a good radio voice. Because he's sort of got this like New Jersey thing going or whatever it is. And he was just fucking hammering all of these people, the scammers, the cancer people. He was throwing like his old co-hosts under the bus and saying they were part of the scam. It was just a whole shit show. So like, whatever. He had like a 15-minute monologue or whatever, and it's actually pretty entertaining because he's throwing everybody under the bus and calling everybody a scammer. Then he starts taking like people from the audience, and that's when the show just like becomes horrible because the people from the audience all just want to talk about their own problems,
right?
And it just gets way out of control. So that's when I just tune out. But like, the real reason I was tuning in was I was hoping that the scammer would come on and confront him. Guess I was hoping for like a whole Jerry Springer thing. Because now that Jerry Springer's dead, where am I going to get this Jerry Springer action? But the scammer didn't come on and confront him. And so now I guess it's just sort of over. I mean, the moral of the story, obviously, is if anybody in the poker community asks you for money, you can give it to them, but do not consider it a loan. Consider it a gift. A gift. If you consider it a gift, you're never going to be upset. Say, hey, if like Wayne, if you came to me and said like, hey, Abe, listen, you can see that all my hair is falling out. I obviously have cancer. Like, could you do something to help me out? I would say, yes, Wayne, I can help you out. I can front you a little fucking money to help you do whatever it is to get you another week, make a wish type thing. I can come over and make you a
last poker session
homemade meal, what have you. I can turn you upside down and try and pawn you off as a hot Asian chick. But I would never then complain if you didn't pay me back, because I would understand it's a gift for a friend. Because if you get involved with people in the gambling world and you think that you're making a fucking loan to them, you are going to be sorely disappointed when you do not get paid back. Or if you think that people in the gambling world are always telling you the truth. Because a lot of people in the gambling world are gambling addicts. They have addiction problems. They would sell their own fucking mother for one more buy-in to stay in action. And if you are also in the gambling world and you do not understand this fact, you are dumber than they fucking are. So you actually deserve to lose your money, and I enjoy it when you lose your money. So there's my 2 cents.
I didn't see, like, I saw Eden Rocks was making, I don't know, enemies with like Negreanu and what, I don't even know what happened.
Oh, that's just bullshit. That's all made up nonsense. He's trying to get some traction, you know? It's like, if I wanted some traction, I'd be like, yeah, me and Taylor Swift are in a fight. Oh, that Taylor Swift. She and I are in a battle for the ages. You know, come on, give me a fucking break. Of course, you want to punch up as high as you can get to try and...
It's a free roll to get
it's
traction.
A free roll.
Yeah.
Because if they punch back down, now you fucking got...
their attention.
You made some inroads.
Yeah.
But it's all fucking bullshit. Daniel Negreanu. Fucking Negreanu. Negreanu doesn't give 2 fucking shits. Give me a fucking break. Negreanu. He's on Mount Rushmore, biatch.
What do you think you can make it a limit game? An hourly?
Wow, it's really hard to say because I don't put in tons of volume. I mean, I put in pretty significant volume, I'd say, at 2040, just because I sit at 2040 when my game
start the
fills
game.
a lot.
Oh, okay. Just something to do.
Yeah, because it's a great time killer. It's right next to my game. There's like usually a seat open. Like I would much rather sit at 40 or 60. I sit at 40 sometimes. I sit at 60 sometimes. But those 40 and 60 lineups, once they get locked in, like there's just no seat open. Whereas in 20, because there's multiple games running, it's like almost always I can sort of get into a seat, right?
Yeah.
So, and that makes the house really happy that I'm like helping support the game or whatever. So like my win rate in 20 is like sort of comically high. So I'm probably the wrong guy to ask. But I think the old David Skolansky, 2 big blinds an hour.
2 big bets an hour?
2 big bets and I don't know what it is.
Well, it's a big difference. Big blinds and big bets. Yeah.
2 big bets. Sorry, I got that wrong. 2 big bets. So for $80 an hour, right? 2040.
Yeah.
Okay. I think $80 an hour is still doable in 2040, minus the increase in rake from Skolansky's time. So, in Skolansky's time, the rake on 2040, because I used to play with Mason at the bike, at that time, the rake on 2040 was either 4+1 or 5+1. And now it's 7+1. So, if you expect to win about 2.5 pots an hour, that means that your rake has increased by about $5 or $6 an hour. So you take the $6 off. So if back then Skolansky thought you could make $80 an hour, I would say now you could probably make like $74 an hour. I don't really see how the competition at 2040 is any different now than it was 20 years ago. I really don't see the difference.
They've gotten nittier. I
A
mean,
little bit, but like you have to game select a little, obviously. But I mean, oh my God, the level of play is still pretty horrific. Now, because you got to remember something. Yes, the players are a little nittier, and they are a little better, but the amount of knowledge that you have as a professional player, professional poker player, has also gone up a lot too.
that's fair.
A lot of the sort of like standard 3-bet plays now from working with solvers were not things that Sklansky was talking about in 1990.
Sure.
Um,
But I mean, it was a total different game. Like,
and so, while it is true that your average competition has gotten a little better, you should be offsetting that by how much better you have gotten as well. I don't know if I could make $75 an hour in that game over 2,000 hours a year, but I don't think that it's impossible for a top player. And it's just because
there's been quite a bit of debate. Like, the last I heard was like half a year ago. Like, Death Donkey, Sean Snyder, Mike L. Some people think you could still beat it at two big bets per hour. Others say it's less than one big bet per hour.
no, it's definitely not less than one. That's just comically stupid. No, it's impossible. If somebody told me that it was $59 an hour or something, I'd be like, fine.
Well, I don't know. I'm just like, at this juncture, we're so subsidized. Like, I don't even care. Like, at the end of the year, I'll be up X. I don't know what that X is, but I hope that X is over 50K or 100K, maybe even more. But like, I'm through calculating these things.
I mean, you can sort of just like use your brain a little. Like, how much are you losing in their pots
Yeah.
when they have it, and how much are they losing in your pots when you have it?
Yeah.
It's like I'm losing so much less in their pots when they have it, usually zero, because I'm just not limping in ever.
Yeah.
And yet 3 out of the fucking 8 people at my table still fucking limp in. I'm just not. I'm always 3-betting to fucking push out limpers with hands that like I think are on par or equal to the original razor when I have position on them. I'm always 3-betting with hands that I think to push out limpers with hands that I think are better than the original razor's hand. I'm so like there's just like so many spots where the amateur players are losing at least a couple bets in each pot.
The big one is uncontested pots too, and it's more so relevant in limit games than no limit games, but still relevant in no limit games. If you could, objectively in 40, 80, or 160 hours, count how many uncontested pots you get where you either definitely had loser or you're denying your opponent their equity. That's
Right.
huge because, like, as you know, the higher up those stakes you get in limit games, it's fairly showdown poker.
Well, yeah, once you get to 60, 120, these players are they're playing ace high like aces. Like, the game plays very heads up and very aggressive and very showdowny. People don't want to get exploited for making folds in big pots at all.
Yeah.
So when it's two tough players against each other, it sort of becomes like an early firefight and like a late call down. Obviously, the fishy players, though, you can make some really exploitative folds against them that are worth a fucking mountain of money.
It's tough, though. I mean, it's like nobody's completely. I guess there's like a small handful of people that are completely incapable of moves, but
Yeah.
I've literally seen like even the ninjas people like make moves sometimes.
But here's the thing, like the other day I folded aces, a set of aces, to a single bet on the river. And I was just 100% sure that this guy could not bet without a hand that beat aces on the board. A set of aces, not just a set of aces. You can ask Matt, Max is South African. Max, everyone knows him. He's South African. He only plays 20. He wanders around the fucking casino all fucking day long.
I mean, I'm sure if I saw him.
Yeah, he's like basically like furniture. He's everywhere. I show him before I fold, and he fucking literally starts to vomit almost. Because he can't, he's just like...
Can't fathom, yeah.
It has boggled his mind to an extent that it's like never existed in the history of the world. The guy I was in with is a really, really nice old guy who I'm pretty friendly with. And I said to him, I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to like...
Sure.
Even have the tiniest chance of it to get back to him.
Yeah.
But he's like probably a 70-year-old Persian guy who I'm been very friendly with for many, many years. And I said to him, we'll just call him E. I said, E, can you do me like the fucking world's biggest favor and show that hand? He's like, sure, Abe. He fucking flips it over, and of course he has a fucking nuts. And like, I just wanted to like let the fucking guy, who's fucking furniture at the casino, who would never believe in a million years if I told him my win rate in the game, know that like, there's a different way to play poker. There's a way different way to play poker than what he thinks is possible.
Yeah.
It's fucking called perfect poker. You have to know what the fuck is going on. Like, you have to know what people are even remotely capable of in these spots. So it's like, I just got through 3-betting this fucking guy in the tournament with a set of aces, and then when fucking every draw comes in on the river, he leads 1 bet into me. He's not doing that as a bluff, ever. He's not doing it as a blocker. He's doing it because he just fucking can.
Yeah.
He's fucking 70 years old. I don't care if there's 50 fucking bets in the pot, which there might have been. It's over. It's just over. I don't need to see it. And it's like I would say like 90% of winning rigs can't do that. It's not even within the realm of their fucking consciousness to do that. But maybe it's just from playing like so much PLO or so much big bet poker. It's just like you have to make reads all the time, and they have to be right. Because if they're wrong, you just fucking lose everything.
Yeah.
So like, it just is what it is. So that's why I think like a really top player can still get very, very close to the 2 big bets an hour. And even a technical fucking wizard can't get anywhere close. Anywhere close.
When I was playing the main at the World Series, I thought the American pros actually played better than the Euro pros, because the Euro pros are fucking doing whatever the fuck they do online. And just like one guy raised under the gun, and this Euro pro like 3-bet with ace-4 suited, and the other guy rips, and the Euro pro was like, oh my god, and he just like calls off. And the guy's ace-king. It's like, dude, this is like live poker at the World Series. Like, what are you 3-betting the early position guy with ace-4 suited? It's like, makes no sense.
Because the solver says you're supposed to.
Yeah, but then all the American pros were just like wiser,
Right.
And just I felt like the American pros played better than the Euro pros for the World Series. Like, yeah, sure, if you put them in like fucking 10-20 online, the Americans will get murdered.
Live poker is a different animal.
Yeah.
Live poker, you have to play perfect poker,
yeah.
Which is impossible, but you have to get as close as you can.
Yeah, and it takes talent. Like, at some echelon, like, I don't think I have it. There was like back in the day when I was playing 200, 400 limit, like I made a mistake, 1 bet. I don't remember that. Like I called off like 1 bet that probably should have been a fold, and
right.
like nobody else was making a mistake. And I'm just like, okay, well, I just lost, 200 an hour because like no one else is making a mistake and I made a mistake.
Right. Yeah, it's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Whereas like the lower games, it's like not only do you not make mistakes strategically, like when you get uncontested pots, that's like huge.
Right.
And even in no limit, like, a big part of whether I think I could beat the game is like how many uncontested pots am I getting per hour? Like even if it's 1 every 2 hours, it's not bad.
Right.
So yeah, I mean that's essentially what I judge nowadays. And just like, as you know, no limit has like a lot of nuance. If you bet like 10% more than you should have and you don't get a call, all that adds up and hurts. So
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I
I'm just, it's, the times have evolved. So it's like in 2023, like I'm trying to, and because I'm on poker media, I do have to answer some of these questions because people obviously throw out some exorbitant numbers. And I'm like, well, I'm trying to see. And the thing is, like, when I first started doing tournaments, I asked Dylan Lindy, he's like this run it once coach, super pro, that plays like all the high rollers, and everyone respects him. I was like, well, what's like a good ROI? And he's like, nobody knows
right.
because there's so much variance when it comes to results. Like and we all make mistakes, and just yeah, I mean, like I've one of the top five, if not top three, win rates, and I make a fuck ton of mistakes. Some are marginal, some are like, I'm just like, oh, that's bad.
Have you made any mistakes on any of these tables while we've been chatting?
Yes, like minor ones, but more importantly, I actually ran bad, or I busted the three of the four more important ones. Just whatever, dealt losing hand. So if those were live tournaments and they were 10Ks, I'm literally down 30K.
How are you doing right now?
You don't know until the very end because the way tournaments work is you just dump in the buy-in. Like, you just buy in everything you're going to play. So you just start
Right.
negative and you literally don't know until the last tournament's done. There's so many times where, and the thing is, obviously, if you do well in the tournament, it's going to last really long. So you literally
Right.
don't know how you're going to do because if you win the last tournament of the day that you're playing in, you go from like, -4 to 8 buy-ins to like, positive 20, positive 30, 40. You have no idea.
Right.
And it's psychologically rough in a sense because, when you play cash games online, you keep checking your balance. And, if you're crushing it, oh, like, yeah, I'm fucking crushing it. Or if you're down, you're like, oh, I don't want to look at my balance. but in tournaments, like, you literally fucking don't know where you're going to be at until you're absolutely done for the day. And it's exhausting, like, on Sundays when I'm literally going to play 30 plus tournaments or maybe even 40 if I have energy. I literally don't fucking know until the very end. And then when you just are negative after playing 40 of them, it's just like, god damn.
That's like soul draining.
It's really soul draining, but it's like tolerable in a sense that I did play 40 in a day. If I played one and just like lost, I can't even like in I went to World Series, like I ran pretty good in the beginning in the stud high and the Omaha 8. The
Right.
stud high, well, sorry, I ran slightly above average in stud high, and then two hands just wiped me out, like
Yeah.
mid tournament. And then the 08, the 10K, I was like running fairly good and playing well. And then I had 4 net losing hands, and I just got wiped out. I had premiums every single time. 3 of the times, the other guy had dog shit
Right.
for 08. Like, King 5, 3-2 with 3 spades, and the guy flops a nut flush. I was just like, I'm just, Yeah, I mean,
There's
just like
nothing.
I have, when everyone else for tournaments is like, let's fucking go. I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna bust 72% of the time, so I'm calibrating my expectations. You
Right.
know?
Well, that's the right mindset. At least you got the right mindset.
But even then, even being prepared when you have like anomalies, like stud, you just whatever they were behind both times and just like nail it, and then the oh my, it's like you lose four net hands and you just like look and you're just like, dude, the guy had fucking three of the four times the guy had fucking dog shit. And I had like top of the line premiums. It
Right.
doesn't. You still feel like a big whiplash. And then this latest run, which lasted 2.5 months, where I lost like, I think the very bottom was like 11.5k. It's just like kings against ace x, river ace, river ace, river ace, like aces against kings, drills a king, like queens against jacks, drills a jack. It's just like I'm sure I made mistakes someplace, but just my eyes are like, I'm just a loser. You just can't fade it. When you're a dull loser, it doesn't matter how good you are.
No, there's nothing you can do.
You know?
Nothing you can do. Just be glad that you have money coming in.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the thing. It just and I have projects, so the legal bills are really rough. So I have a buffer. I just when those situations happen, it just really jolts the brain.
Well, what's going on with your second job?
You mean the job I'm losing a ton of money on? My project?
No, your
Oh,
third
oh,
job.
oh. Well, I'm actually going to be employed in. I don't even know if I should be saying this. I'm gonna get busted.
Yeah, I didn't want to tell. I didn't want to. That's why I just said
Okay,
like.
let's just. I'm multi-employed, whatever.
That's why I was cryptic. How long until you have multiple extra jobs?
Probably 3 weeks for the next job,
Okay.
and 2 more months for another job after that.
What's that one? You can't say.
I don't. I mean, I really don't even know the stat. Like, it's gonna
How can you
happen.
possibly? How can you possibly have three? There's not even that many hours in the day.
Well, some overlap.
Okay.
Like, as you know, one of these jobs I could do simultaneously while playing, and I'm lucky
Right.
enough that I have good relations with the people that they allow me to do that. So.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. I get it. I get it. I get it. I know all the jobs now.
You
Wow.
know of three of them.
Well, I don't know about the gigolo job or whatever the fuck else you're doing.
Well, very few people know about this fourth one. It's like an experimental project, but and then poker ostensibly is a job, but legal paycheck wise, probably three different places in 2 months. I don't know.
You're the best, Wayne. You're doing all the right
I
things. You're making
learned
all the
from
right
you.
moves.
I learned from you.
You're
When you
making all the right moves.
when you found well, I'm dump. I mean, my project's sinking a lot of money, so I really hope to launch by the end of. Well, yeah, I don't think it's going to launch this end of this year, but like I hope it launches within half a year.
Well, when it does launch, I'll be the first one there playing.
That
If
one I
that's
could talk about. Eric Persons like is gonna let me launch in Washington, but I still there's so many. The legal process is just so long.
right, right,
You
right,
know?
right.
But hopefully it works out, and hopefully it's retirement money plus more. Then I'll be at your level.
Good
But
luck.
like paying for the project, it's so like exhausting in a sense. It's like, oh my god, I would have been very, very, very well off if I didn't pursue this thing, but I know I had to.
You know you're not supposed to throw good money after bad, right?
Yeah, well, I didn't learn everything from you, so
All right, Wayne. Well, I wish you the best of luck with all your endeavors,
thank
and
you, thank you.
thank you for inviting me on. And I hope your tournaments last very long, which means you're winning.
I'm still
But
in.
I'm old and lame, and I'm gonna go to bed.
All right, say hi to her for me.
Okay, take
All
it
right,
easy, Wayno.
all right. Later.
See you at dinner.